Comparing decimals. When we compare decimals, we look at the numbers to the digits to the left of the decimal point and compare those first. Once we've compared those and they are similar, then we move to the digits to the right of the decimal. When comparing decimal numbers, those are the digits to the right of the decimal, we make sure that we have the same number of places with both numbers we're comparing. And I'll show you that here in a few seconds. Let's look at the first two numbers, 6 and 400ths compared to 6 and 1400ths. We're going to first look at our whole numbers and compare those. We have 6 ones compared to 6 ones. They're the same. So now we're going to move to the right of the decimal and we'll work with the decimal numbers. Here we see there are 2 digits to the right of the decimal, and we need to make sure there are 2 digits on the other number as well, which there are. So now we begin and compare the digits just to the right of decimal. So we're going to compare the 0 tenths to 1 tenth. And in comparing those, we know 0 tenths is less than 1 tenth. So 6 and 400ths is less than 6 and 1400ths. The next two numbers we have are 23 and 700ths compared to 2 and 307 thousandths. Let's first look at the whole numbers to the right of the decimal. There are 23 ones here and there are 2 ones here. So now, since these are different, we can compare. 23 ones is more than 2 ones. So 23 and 700ths is greater than 2 and 307 thousandths. Now let's compare the 9 and 9 tenths to 9 and 9 hundredths. Looking to the left at the whole numbers, there are 9 ones here and 9 ones here. These are the same. So now we're going to work with the decimal numbers to the right of the decimal. Now I notice there's 1 digit here to the right of the decimal, but there are 2. Since there's only 1 here, we're going to need to annex a 0 so that we have 2 digits to the right of the decimal on this number and two digits to the right on this number. So now we have the same number of digits to the right of the decimal in both numbers. And now we compare. Starting just to the right of the decimal, 9 tenths compared to 0 tenths. 9 tenths is greater than 0 tenths, so 9 and 9 tenths is greater than 9 and 9 hundredths. Now, let's do these two numbers. Looking at the whole number, there are 0 ones and 0 ones. Those are the same. Then to the right of the decimal, there are 3 digits here. There are 2 digits here. We need to make sure that both numbers have the same number of digits to the right of the decimal. Since there are 3 to the right here, we're going to have to annex a 0 here so that there are 3 digits to the right of this decimal place here. Now we're ready to compare. Starting right at the decimal, just to the right, we're going to compare the tenths. 0 tenths compared to 0 tenths. They're the same. So now let's move on to the next place. 5 hundredths compared to 5 hundredths. They're the same. Now we'll move to the next place, to the right of the hundredths place. 5 thousandths compared to 0 thousandths. So 5 thousandths is greater than 0 thousandths. So 0 and 55 thousandths is greater than 0 and 5 hundredths. That is comparing decimals.